All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are following up with Texans rookie Cade Stover, young tight end for the Houston Texans. He's going to have a great impact on this Texans offense, and we've got a great set of cut-ups to highlight everything he will bring. As always, if you appreciate this content, give us a like, give us any comments with any feedback you might have, but without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a running play. There is Cade Stover right there at tight end on the offensive right, the left side of your screen. And this is just going to be a kind of toss sweep outside run action here for the Houston Texans. We're going to get everyone working backside cutoffs here on the backside. We're getting reach blocks here on the play side here. Fullbacks leading the way, trying to pick up number 43. And Cade Stover right there, he's going to be one-on-one on number 51, the edge defender. Now, look, in these situations, what you're trying to do if you're Stover is trying to reach him, try and get to this outside shoulder, at very least square him up and keep him in a general position right here. That really doesn't happen very much because usually edge defenders, you're not able to reach them, right? It's such a tough block. I mean, look at all this space. That's a long way to go to try and get equal to him. And usually what ends up happening is you kind of force him wide. The edge defender forces the cutback, and the help comes from the defense, right? That's usually what happens these kind of plays. But Cade Stover shows off his athleticism and his blocking chops and does a really nice job and actually opens up an outside run here for the Houston Texans. Let's check it out. All right, there's the snap. You can see offensive line on the play side. They're reaching. Everyone on the backside is trying to cut people off right here. You see fullback leading the way right there. He gets caught up in the trash. Again, it's preseason, so you get weird stuff like this, but 34, fullback. Hey, take a wider path and get on a linebacker, please. I mean, come on. But anyway, let's focus on Cade Stover right here. So right here, he's on 51, squares him up right there, and keeps working on him. See how it's completely square? This edge defender, what he has to do, he cannot allow Cade Stover to base him up like this. He's taught his livelihood depends on making sure he's on the outside of Stover, where basically 51's foot has to be out, 51's inside foot has to be outside the tight end. But Cade Stover keeps working, keeps running his feet, doesn't hold, opens up the outside run. This is really great blocking at the point of attack because usually two things happen. When you base a guy up like this, usually you give up a lot of ground and penetration, which can lead to negative plays, or you hold right there and it causes a 10-yard penalty, which of course is a negative play. Cade Stover not only bases him up and opens up the outside run, but he gives up no ground, no penetration, and doesn't hold, allows us to be a really successful run for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Nick, and I think we're seeing a lot of growth out of Cade Stover in his blocking game for the Texans. Just overall, offensively in the blocking department, he's gone up week by week. Starting off, his first and lowest grade was a 55.0. Now he is all the way up to a 67.5. He's jumped over 12 points so far, doing a really good job. But I think just we're seeing growth in Cade Stover really settle into this NFL level blocking game. I think he's going to be really impressive once all is said and done.
All right, going the other way now, there is Stover right there on the line of scrimmage, number 87 on the left side of the offense. And look, this is an example of what Stover will bring in terms of two tight end packages. You guys can see that Jordan, number 9, is on the field for the Houston Texans as well. And this is going to be a standard inside zone running scheme here for Houston. Stover's going to work to base block number 51. 57's working up to 58. Left guard's working to try and reach number 96, I believe that is for the New York Giants. We're going to get kind of a zone double team action here where the right guard's trying to take over that head up nose guard. The center's working to get up to the linebacker. We're going to get backside cutoffs here by the right tackle. And Jordan right there, he's going to kind of lead the way by picking up the end man on the line of scrimmage right there. Now look, the running back, he's going to take this path right here and trying to see if he can cut back this direction as much as he can. Because the whole goal right here is in any kind of zone blocking schemes to get dislocation this way and to get backside cutoffs. And then the running back just tries to pick exactly where he'll end up. I want you guys to focus on Stover and Jordan right here. Stover is brought in, I think, more as a blocking physical force. Jordan's not bad, but I want you to compare and contrast what these two guys do on these plays. And I think this will highlight the value Stover brings. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see everyone up front on the offensive line taking their zone blocking paths to the left. You can see Stover base blocking the in-man on the line of scrimmage. You can see Jordan come across the formation right here. Folks, Jordan is not a bad blocker, not at all. I think he's actually a solid blocker, but he's more of a playmaker at tight end. Watch what he does on this one, number 9. I mean, that's ugly. I mean, he gets caught up in some trash right here by number 64, but he gets absolutely depleted right there. That's just ugly. That's not what you want. That's not a strong blocking presence from a tight end. And I'm not blaming for it. I think he's actually a better blocker than Schultz, and I think he's a willing guy. But you look at Stover right here, who's a much more fundamental old school blocker, gets on that in man, bases him up, good job right there, and then keeps working, keeps driving, drives him upfield, throws him into the pile 4 or 5 yards. That's a nice rep, right? This is what you want from classic blocking tight end, basing people up, getting some movement, opening up opportunities for the running back. Because right here, by winding it out and staying on him, he opens up an inside seam right there to actually duck it up and get 4 or 5 yards, which isn't bad football, right? And that's exactly what the Texans need from their tight ends. Dalton Schultz doesn't bring it. Jordan is kind of wishy-washy sometimes. Cade Stover can be that guy, especially in 2 tight end sets. Let's take a look at it from the wide copy right here. There you can see him right there. Watch him get on number 51 and just square him up, stay on him, base him up, and then keep moving, keep working his feet, keep blowing him upfield. That is awesome. And again, you see how he basically reaches him right here. I tell you what, if I back it up just a smidgen to maybe right here, it's tough. But if I'm the running back, there's a chance I break this outside and then I'm one-on-one with the safety with all this grass, right? And I guarantee you, both Bobby Slowick and the Houston Texans offensive coaching staff, they're seeing this and like, there's a chance we may pop some big runs because of the blocking work Cade Stover does on the edge. All right, we've shown Stover, and there he is right there on the right side of the offense. We've shown him a number of times on the play side, but obviously backside blocking, backside cutoffs are very important in the Bobby Slowick zone blocking scheme. And that's exactly what we're going to get here from the Houston Texans. 57s working a base up number 48. We're going to get zone double team action here, working to linebacker. We're going to get this guard zone double teaming here, backside cutoff, a scoop technique, right tackles working to cut off him. And Stover right here, he's responsible for backside cutoffs, but it's kind of a two-parter. He's kind of get this gap and make sure this edge defender doesn't flash down this way to make sure he gets cut off. And then he's going to work to cut off the backside safety. It takes a really kind of smart, savvy. You got to react to what's in front of you quickly. Stover does a really nice job on this play. Let's check it out. All right, there's the snap. You can see the zone double teams right there between the left guard and the center, working to linebacker. You can see the left tackle base blocking the in-man on the line of scrimmage. We can see the cutoff blocks right there between the right guard and center, working up to linebacker. And you can see the natural cutback opportunity that's happening for the running back to kind of cut back behind 64 and run right up this hash. Classic zone blocking kind of stuff. And it all depends on Cade Stover. He's going to basically handle both of these guys. Right here, he does a really good job. See how he slow plays it to make sure 48 stays wide. Then he immediately gets vertical to cut off number 19, I believe that is, for the New York Giants. Gets on him, forces him to go underneath. Great job right there by Stover. Right there, you're basically blocking 2 people. And it's a lot harder than it looks because right here, if he stays and goes right at number 46, let's say, it allows number 19 to fly off the field with basically cut this play off easily. If he goes, let's say, 2 diagonal this way to the offensive left, it allows 48 to maybe go off his heels to track this play down. He's got to stay wide to keep this Edman on the line of scrimmage wide and then get up the field as quickly as he can to cut off the backside safety. That's exactly what he does. Great rep. And this is so close to a touchdown here. You're just 1 block away. 62. If you just get something decent on 58 right here, because the running back goes a little wider than maybe I would have liked, but he's trying to cut back behind 64. That's where it is. And right there, folks, you look at Stover. He's got the backside safety cut off. By his width, he got the backside defensive end cut off. If they have any sort of hand on this linebacker, this is nothing but green grass. This may be a touchdown. Instead, it's like a 3-yard run. And this is what's really tough. So many times, the difference between a 3-yard run and a touchdown is 1 block. And this is all on 62 right here. If they can clean this up, and look, I know it's preseason, a lot of backups, things like that, completely understand it. But if they can clean this up with their starters, there's going to be a lot of big cutback opportunities because of Cade Stover's blocking here, cutting people off. All right, sticking with the running game, there is Stover right there on the right side of your screen, offensive left. And we've seen Stover a number of times on the play side. We've seen him getting on in-man line of scrimmage. We've seen him backside cutoffs. Now we're going to see him get up to the second level. And this is a really cool design here by the Houston Texans. It's basically going to get a zone double team right here with Stover in the tackle. Tackle's going to work to take him over before he's working a cutoff, number 43 right there. The fullback's going to lead and cut off the in-man on the line of scrimmage right there. Everyone else is kind of working zone double teams to cut people off, backside cutoffs this way. I tell you what, folks, the Houston Texans up front do a phenomenal job in terms of reaching people, right? They completely cut off and seal these defenders. This should have been a huge play from the running back on the outside. Unfortunately, this running back right here takes a weird path. But I tell you what, folks, what Stover brings to the table in terms of second level blocking is just as good as he does at the line of scrimmage. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see Stover kind of work through there a little bit. He has to kind of get skinny. It's kind of a weird deal, right? Because he doesn't want to get hung up on 51, but he's going to give some help on 96 to allow his tackle to take him over. Does a pretty good job of both. Then immediately takes a great angle to reach number 43 and cut him off. You see how he stays vertical right there to get a little help on 96, then immediately winds out diagonally. That's great technique. Cuts off 43. Folks, they have the edge completely sealed for the New York Giants. This is great up front by the offensive line, the fullback, and Cade Stover right here. Great job. Running back, stay outside. Why are you cutting it up inside? You're trying to reach and cut people off. Look at everyone's reached, right? Tackles reached him. Fullbacks reached him. Stovers reached him. Why are you cutting it up inside? This is a touchdown. This is a 20, 30-yard run that was handed to you by Stover, the offensive line, and the fullback, and this running back decides to cut it up inside. I get it. It's preseason. I understand guys try to make the team. They're new to the offense, all that kind of stuff. During the regular season, obviously, there'll be different ball carriers. And I tell you what, with blocking like this, with Stover at the point of attack, helping his tackle reach defensive ends and then getting up on linebackers, that'll be a weapon for the Houston Texans right there. All right, kind of a change of pace. There is Cade Stover right there, lined up in a fullback position, kind of a new alignment there for Cade Stover. And this is going to be a quick pass up front from the Houston Texans. Basically, they're going to have everyone on the offensive line take the gap to their left, working like this direction right here. And they're going to have Stover come here and pick up the in man on the line of scrimmage. That's Thibodeau right there for the New York Giants. Really nice football player. It's going to be a quick drop and a quick throw by CJ Stroud. And this kind of block right here, it's a really tough deal. A lot of times, blockers, fullbacks, tight ends, whoever's back there, they try and go really aggressive and try and just really attack this player. But if he olays you quick, which an athlete like Thibodeau can, that means that's usually a hit on the quarterback. You also want to attack him enough to get his hands down. It's a block a lot harder than it looks, but Cade Stover does a nice job. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the offensive linemen all work to their left. You can see Stover right there going to pick up Kayvon Thibodeau. Right there does a pretty good job because the two things you can't have happen, like I mentioned, you can't have Thibodeau, the end man on line of scrimmage there, olay you and get a hit on your quarterback. You also can't have him jump up unmolested and bat the football down. So you got to make sure you're square enough to make sure he can't just run around you, but you also have to attack him enough so he get his hands down. That's exactly what Stover does here on Thibodeau. Right, squares him up, make sure Kayvon Thibodeau doesn't run right into CJ Stroud, and then attacks him with his hands. So if Thibodeau has to bring his hands, CJ Stroud gets rid of the football quickly, easily, completion, chunk play. Right, it's the little things, right? And this is what Stover can bring to the Texans offense. Do you want Dalton Schultz doing this? Probably not. Do you want Jordan doing this? We've seen a few plays of it this cut up. Maybe not. Stover can and will be able to do this for the Texans come regular season, and it should be a great value add for this Houston offense.
Yeah, Nick, and again, calling back to this guy transition from linebacker to tight end, probably a little bit underdeveloped in his blocking game. And I don't think that's a knock necessarily. I think that's a positive because he's already a very good blocker. We see him in the pass block game. Week 1, no pass block reps for Stover. Week 2, 1 pass block game. Then come back to him as a pass blocker. Once again, this is a guy that's growing really well. And he's done good in the pass blocking game as well, a 70.2 PFF grade for his pass blocking abilities. And again, early on in his development as a pass blocker, very little work. I think he's only going to get better with more reps. And we see him beating Kayvon Thibodeau here in a pass block situation, a really talented edge rusher. I think this is a really good sign for Cade Stover.
All right, going back to the Steelers matchup, week 1 of the preseason between week 2 and the Hall of Fame game. There is Stover right there. He's lined up in a tight end. I think he's offset the line of scrimmage there right there. So technically kind of an H-back role. And this is, again, what Stover can bring to this Texans offense. We saw what he did against the Giants, but now we're going to see him replicate that against the Pittsburgh Steelers with a really nice reach block here. This is, again, a wide zone scheme. Everyone up front is trying to reach people. Left tackle's working up to linebacker right there. Cutoffs here on the backside. Again, it's wholly dependent on what Stover can do at the point of attack. He allows the Houston Texans offense to get the edge. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see everyone up front from the offensive line is working to the right side of the screen, the offensive left. Let's again watch Stover right there. Attack and square up 49 right there and basically lock him at the point of attack right there. That's winning football. Stays on him, lets him go, doesn't hold, allows the Texans to get the edge for a really nice play. Again, this is great blocking that the Houston Texans have not had at the tight end position for a very long time. And this run blocking scheme, this zone scheme right here, it normally is predicated on cutbacks, right? Finding a seam inside to cut back behind. And teams defensively usually try and game plan against that. But if a guy like Stover with his blocking allows this running scheme to attack the edges as well, that forces defenses to have to completely change their strategy, which could open up the Texans offense to a whole new level. I think what Cade Stover will bring in the blocking game is an underrated aspect of the value he'll provide to this Texans offense. Let's take a look at it from the wide copy right here. There you can see him right there. Watch him engage in 49, square him up, stay on him, and then don't hold, allow the running back to hit the edge right there. And look at 49's reaction. That's everything you need to know right there. Look at 49 right here. He can't believe it. He can't believe he gave up the edge. And we've seen that. That's not just 49 not being good at football. We saw Cade Stover do that against the New York Giants, too. This is what Stover can bring to the Houston Texans offense, and he'll be a huge weapon come the regular season. All right, we're going to end on one of my favorite plays from Stover all preseason. There he is at tight end for the Houston Texans. It's going to be a power concept, right? We're going to have the fullback lead the way in here. We're going to have everybody up front blocking down for the Houston Texans, backside tackle anchoring down, guard pulling to lead the way right here. It's just a downhill mano-a-mano scheme, mash of humanity in there. It's all about getting movement at the point of attack. I want you guys to watch what Stover does here. So this right tackle right here, he's got to take this gap inside right here, which will most likely be this defender. So this kind of becomes sort of a double team here working to the backside linebacker. But his buddy, Stover's buddy, this right tackle right here does a terrible job. Basically leaves this defensive lineman basically undefended, basically unblocked, has a chance to really blow up this play. But Stover bodies him up, does a really nice job, gives this play a chance. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see everyone working down, fullback working out, guard pulling, and you can already see number 98 for the Pittsburgh Steelers is making this right tackle look kind of silly. Tackle goes kind of flying all over the place right there. At least he gets a piece on 41 a little bit there for the Houston Texans, so I guess it wasn't a total disaster. But right there, folks, splitting a double team like that in this kind of power concept, that usually results in a disaster when a defensive lineman is head up right there in this situation on a tight end. But watch Stover. Gets on him by himself, bodies him up, fast, physical, tough football, pushes the pile 3 or 4 yards. Look, that's winning football. If you don't get great support on the double team, plays like this are usually dead. But Stover's a great athlete, completely squares him up, stays on him, keeps working. And really, it wasn't his fault. Right there, he's got a great position. The running back just sees so much trash this way that he tries to duck it inside. And really, it's 93 here making the play. Stover, this is a great rep, right? This is physical, tough, nastiness. Even though he's a tight end, he's willing to get in the muck. He's willing to get in the fray and help out his offense. I think he was a great pickup for the Houston Texans. It'll be a huge weapon for him come the regular season.